I'm Feminazzi Erin Gibson.
I'm homosexual Bryan Safi.
And this is Attitudes.
LGBT plus issues.
Pop culture.
Gender issues.
It's hot. I'm tired.
It's hot, honey. Yes. Can you handle the heat?
Do we have to talk about it, Bryan? Do we have to talk about it?
No. I don't want to talk about it.
Because I definitely don't want to fucking talk about it.
I don't want to fucking talk about it.
I don't want to fucking talk about it. How about that?
We're talking about the fact that you're wearing suspenders this week?
This is why everyone in Canada wants to fuck
overalls.
Me. Everyone in Canada wants to fuck me.
Those are really cute.
Because I look like they've never seen a grown woman with ice princess hair and overalls. And it's a thing. It's like I fit into some kind of kink in Canada and I don't know what it is.
Miss?
Yeah.
Miss. Mm-hmm. I have a question. I would look crazy wearing overalls, right? I mean, nope. I think I wouldn't look like Godspell.
Not if you worked it. I have on a vintage horse shirt, a fucking cool necklace, and I have on sandals.
God, I really
You just got to work it.
Well, it's
you know who you should talk to
wear overalls right now.
You know who you should talk to is Adam. Adam will help you style overalls.
Adam Sandler? I wouldn't consider him a style, but okay.
Yeah,
yes,
Adam Sandler, he does. What's cool about it is he'll pick out an overall and then he'll do like a dumb voice of like a child or something, right? And he'll make the overalls kiss. And then
I'm just worried that if I wear overalls, the next step will be me painting my face like a clown. Because it is my a slippery slope. Rodeo clown.
It's a slippery slope. It truly is. I'll tell you what's good about overalls in certain situations. Lots of pockets.
That's nice. And see, this is something that a lot of people don't have to deal with. When you have to tinkle, you got to put them all the way down to the floor.
That's the problem. Except these particular ones, I just undo the buttons on the side and I just pull them down like regular pants.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's wonderful.
But I don't have suspenders on. I have in the past worn suspenders, but you've never noticed because they're black pants with black suspenders. So I know. I remember
you used to wear those on tour sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was really, those were really cute. I liked that look.
Those were chic, huh?
Yeah, very.
I still have those pants. Isn't that a fun story?
Wow.
I think you can, but could we not figure out a look for you that was just a piece of clothing that you were like, I shouldn't be a vest guy? Or, you know what I mean? Something that's a little out of the box for you.
Right.
One little piece of clothing.
Yeah.
An ascot, one earring.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Half a sock. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Half socks.
Do you want to know did I already describe my look the other day when I was on my last pair of socks?
No.
I was on my last pair of socks.
Did you do that on your other podcast? Is that what you asked?
No. I just can't remember if I'd done it on this one. I was on my last pair of socks, which was a pair of black crew socks, which those are the ones that are calf length, right? Crew socks? I'm going to say yes.
I think there's calf and there's crew.
Okay, these were calf, whatever.
Okay. They go over your calf? They go to your calf?
Like to my calf.
Okay.
So wearing that.
Crew socks I always think of crew socks as the ones that if you put little tiny rowers in it, they'd be able to row. And it's a row
inside the sock?
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's how I remember the length of that.
Very difficult. You're right. That's a good way. I'll use that mnemonic device from now on.
Yeah.
I was wearing those socks with truly the most hideous pair of white Hokas anyone could ever imagine. I
hate to tell you this.
They're hideous.
All the Hokas are the most hideous pair of Hokas.
So these were like white Hokas with a blue streak, my black crew socks, elastic waist, blue shorts, cotton, with a peanut butter stain on the left quad that I thought I had gotten out, white t-shirt, tinted SPF all around the collar, and I had a giant cloth Target bag with one bottle of Smart Water in there. So, which wasn't enough to sustain it. So, the bag kept collapsing in on itself.
Yeah.
And I had it over my shoulder, but it kept coming down to my elbow. And I walked around like that for about 8 hours.
You didn't think you needed to go home and change?
It was so hot, but I got more stares then than I ever have ever.
Yeah. And like home stairs? Like people gave you stairs?
Yeah, like STARES. So I wasn't gifted a flight of stairs.
No. Oh, okay. Yeah. Someone didn't give you like a
second floor.
Nice spiral staircase. Okay.
No, although that would have been really nice. I watched
and people were staring at you because they were like, I don't understand. The labels all would all lead me to believe that this person has their shit together. But then the presentation
couldn't have been worse. Really couldn't have been worse. Anyway.
Now, Sergio we have our lady attorneys here with us today. We already did the Q&A with them. We did that first. And I have to say, Sergio has put into the chat with us picture of Bryan in overalls, and people are saying different things. But I have to say one thing, which is that if you didn't have on Timberland boots in this and you had on a different shirt, I think this would be a sexy look.
Well, I would have said the same thing, except that Charlotte really nailed it. She said that basically I look like Glenn Beck. That is what I would look like in overalls.
Glenn Beck doesn't wear overalls.
I feel like you're right. I know that. Okay, but one time he wore lederhosen, and I feel like that's what I look like in that.
I know what this is. The problem is that the PNW look, the Pacific Northwest look, lends itself to this. So there are people up here who would work this look in a way that I think you would be like, come to mama.
That's fair. I guess there is something a little bit role-playing about it. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
But it does feel like I should be carving a wooden duck on my porch.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. It's got that energy.
But wooden ducks are kind of in right now.
They are?
I saw the coolest thing at Salt Spring Island, which is where I went this weekend because I'm doing all the Channel Islands.
Yes.
I'm doing a tour of the Channel Islands.
Okay.
Cutest thing. And Salt Spring is known for its artists. I highly recommend. There's incredible jams. There's incredible salts. And there's some icon making wooden ducks. The stand-up kind, right?
Are they known for their artists?
Wearing Crocs. And when I tell you that these people have them front and center in these windows downtown, and I'd laughed. I thought, what a cute thing. Ducks and Crocs. I couldn't get enough.
See, this is what I mean. I think when you say the term whenever I hear the term island artists, all I think about is someone painting a walrus drinking out of a wine glass. Like that's the art, basically.
It's
right?
a lot of very bad, like stained glass.
Right.
Mosaics.
Exactly. It's still fun though.
I will say the food scene was great. And I had an incredible wine tasting. And then the art, again, sorry to throw all of Canada together. I'll just say West Coast. The art in Vancouver,
here we go,
in British Columbia, does not speak to me.
Right.
I'm not a duck with Crocs fan. I don't, that's not something that gets my engine going.
Yeah.
I don't love watercolors in general.
Yeah, I'm not really a big
of
fan
the
of that
sunset.
Either. Yeah. I understand.
There's some good artists here, but as a whole, the look is not my scene.
Sure. I'm not a big pastels person.
No.
I'll say that. Yeah.
There's a lot of dreary stuff here because it is usually quite rainy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like, what if Robert Smith lived on a goat cheese farm art?
Sure.
Yeah.
I was watching Real Housewives of New Jersey recently, and one of the ladies in their Jersey Shore house on the wall had a sculpture of a giant pair of flip-flops. Giant.
This is what I'm saying.
It was like they were like
island
6 feet long, and it was so I couldn't imagine. It was at the head. It was basically above the headboard of one of the bedrooms. I cannot imagine sleeping under a giant pair of flip flops. Like if that thing fell off, it could crush your skull, and then you would have to tell people that.
And they'd be like, "What happened?" And you'd be like, "Oh, you'll never believe it. A flip flop fell on me."
Yeah.
Oh, a regular flip flop?
No, a giant
ceramic flip-flop. I think I have a picture of this duck. I do have a picture of the thing that
Amy wants to know if they were orange flip flops. I'm not
all colors.
I can't
imagine
remember.
A color. I imagine they were multicolor. No,
I can't remember the color. It might have just been one color.
Well, I can't find it, but the placard that says that you put on your door so people don't just bother you, it said, do not disturb.
Do not disturb?
Yeah.
That's like one time when I was checking out at a grocery store. I was put all my food down or whatever, and they were scanning it. And the woman looked at me and she goes, they forgot the S. And I didn't know what she was talking about. And so I looked at the screen and it said where the credit card goes, and it said wipe here.
I love it. Did you see this Sergio picture of the Brooklyn gay uniform?
Oh, with the short
This
overalls?
is overall shorts. I think this is sexy as hell. Why you can do this, Bryan?
I think I'm too old for that look, honestly.
This person is 75 years old. This person is 75 years old.
Yes, clearly. Let me put it this way. I want to be too old for this look. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that when someone's like, why don't you wear overalls? You're like, I'm too old.
Right. I had a moment of heroism this weekend.
Mm-hmm. And this has nothing to do with the tinted moisturizer stain shirt?
No. Not at all. At this point, I was wearing different shorts with a clean polo shirt. I sent a picture to my mother because I thought to myself, she's going to love this look. I went to a restaurant, which I got to be honest with you.
Did she or did she disappoint
I didn't send
you?
her the picture.
Oh, okay. I think it's a 50-50 crapshoot when you do something like that.
It always is. Yeah. That's the best part is it's like betting on red or black when talking to my mom. Like I never know where the chip's going to fall, Never. I will say this.
Just talking to my mother's like playing the Vegas odds.
Exactly.
Right?
Completely. Okay. I went to a restaurant and I got to say, I hate this specific kind of restaurant. A restaurant with a doorman can truly go fuck itself. It's a restaurant, doorman. Not a club. Like someone outside being like, hey, do you have a reservation? Before you can even step in the restaurant.
Yeah.
This is like popping up more and more. And it feels very like the Hills Ladue. You know what I mean? Where it's sort of like, what is this? 2006? Like, what is this doorman energy at a fucking restaurant in the West Village? Like, that's not the vibe. Who cares? Anyway, I went in, and first of all, this place is I guess known for its cocktail menu. They had like a full page of Negroni options, the full page of martini options, but they call them like the Negroni sessions. Right. So it's like, what am I, in a jam band? I just want to order a cocktail.
What am I, Crosby, Stills, Nash, or Young?
Right. And excuse me, honey, if this is fucking a session, then what am I supposed to call the 50 minutes I spend with my therapist every week?
Thank you.
A cocktail?
By the way, the result's the same. I'll tell you that much.
Honey. Yes, to tell the truth. So, anyway, my random act of heroism this week.
Did you have the fucking Negroni?
I did. And it was fine. It was good. It was a strawberry rhubarb Negroni. So that was fun for summer. You don't beat the heat.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Nothing that says beat the heat by an upper.
Than a whiskey.
Something that puts your fucking blood alcohol just to work immediately.
Gin. Exactly.
Sorry, depressant, which, I mean, whatever it does, it makes me have hot sweats at night.
Me too.
Burning off that sugar at 3 a.m.
Exactly. So, the guy next to me on the right sent back his old fashioned because he said there was one too many ice cubes in it. To be fair, there were 2 ice cubes total, but they were those big ones.
Uh-huh.
You know that thing, the guy sitting across from me, my date, was sitting in the booth part. I was at a chair, and he was a good 18 to 20 inches taller than me. That's how uneven the seating arrangements were. You know how like sometimes one side is much taller?
Yes, that's bad restaurant design, but go ahead.
I felt like I was having a meeting with like Putin.
And sometimes you feel like you're a baby in a seat.
I did feel like a baby. The only thing that was the saving grace is like, oh, if he takes a picture of me, which why would he? It'll be at a high angle.
It's always bright siding. That's what's great about you, Bryan.
The people this is where my heroism comes in. The people to the left of me. You understand?
Mm-hmm. I know, left and right. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I do now after years on this show.
They were seated. It's a very educational show. They were seated well after we were. And as we were finishing, they were starting to order. Okay. Now, they didn't speak, I think they were Italian. They didn't speak very good English. And so, they were sort of trying to communicate with the server.
And not using Google Translate?
Correct. And one of the things they ordered was a steak. And the server said, how would you like it cooked? And I thought they said medium rare. I mean, I think they did say medium rare, maybe. And the server goes, great, medium well. And then da-da-da. But they didn't, it just seemed like they might have misunderstood it. Also, the restaurant was very loud. So the waiter goes to punch in the order. I panic. Because I think to myself, these people
I don't think Italians like to do medium well. Yeah.
Well, that's right. And so I was like, this waiter did da-da-da-da-da. And I literally I knew I had a mission to unfold before me.
Okay.
So I told my date, I need to go to the bathroom. But I didn't.
Let me guess where you went.
Yeah.
The POS stand.
I went right to that POS touch, honey. Leapt.
Right to that aloha.
In front of the server and said, a grave mistake is but upon us. I think they said medium rare. And you cannot wrong this wronger. You understand? Mm-hmm. And I think probably what I said is I'm so sorry to do this. Everybody hates me. And I feel like an idiot, but da-da-da-da. She goes, oh my God. Yeah, thank you, actually. It's very nice of you to tell me. He was very sweet. I'll go check with them. And I go, okay, but can you do it a few seconds after I sit down so it doesn't look like I'm a part of this?
In no way would anyone have even thought of that. But yes, that's when you lost this person.
So I came back to the table. The waiter was only a few feet from us. So by this point, the guy I was on the date with knew that I had lied about going to the bathroom because he saw that I didn't.
Yeah.
So the guy goes back to the table.
And just, can I back up a second?
Of course.
What would have been so wrong for you to say, excuse me a minute, I'll be right back?
Because I don't know. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
What
do you think that says about your childhood, Bryan?
Oh, I think it says that I will do anything to escape the situation I'm in.
Okay,
the server
continue
comes back
on.
to the table and he goes, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to check one more time. You said medium rare? And they go, no, medium well. And the waiter shot me a look. And I was so humbled. So I guess at the end of this, it wasn't an act of heroism. It really was just, I confused things more.
You know what? You thought you were doing something right and
really
you actually made something harder.
Yeah.
And did you go on an apology tour?
I did. When we left, I stopped the server and I said, I'm so sorry about that. I misheard. And he was like, yeah, it's fine. It's okay. But he wasn't as friendly as he was the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that was a good story.
I think there's lessons here to be learned, and I'm going to go through all of them.
Okay.
Number one, I just think as Americans, we have to.
Oh no!
I think we have to stay out of we have to stay out of the affairs of other countries and other. You know what I mean? Like when they're out there doing their thing and saying their words and living their culture, we can't just assert ourselves on top of them and just dominate them,
Right. Well, now
I'm learning this every day in Canada.
Does speak the exact same language. I can understand where you're coming from. Yeah.
Number two, if you're so engaged in sexual tension and touching with the person you're across from, then that other stuff doesn't even exist to you. You know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. PDA, more right. PDA. You know what I mean?
I was doing, right. I see.
If you had your
Erin
shoe
says
off.
There's no PDA in Canada.
If you had taken off your hoka and rubbed your black sock, just lightly touched it under his ball sack.
Sexy.
Under the table.
Oh my God. That's the same. Removing one hoka and taking that crew sock you've been walking around New York in all day.
For 8 hours in the heat.
Tickling someone's scrotum with it.
Yeah.
As very.
At a fancy restaurant with a doorman.
Very sexy.
Then nothing else matters in that moment.
You're right.
The moment is only sock to dick.
I gotta hand it to you, Erin. I think you're absolutely right with this one.
And then you don't have to worry about what other people are doing because you're blinders.
Oh my God.
On the under the table business.
Absolutely.
You know, those are the only lessons. Did you order food, or did you guys just sit there and stare at each other and inserted yourself into other people's business?
It was a date, so I ordered the trout salad.
Oh yeah, because we all know you don't want to have a steak on a date.
Right.
Yeah.
Stakes are too high already.
The stakes are already, you don't want more steaks on the plate.
Can't get more steak. The food was good, actually. I'll tell you that.
I just want to say hello again to our lady attorneys who are here
hello.
Every month.
We do a Q&A. They come in, they listen to the episode, they do a Q&A with us afterward, except this time we did it before, as Erin mentioned. So we obviously always thank them for being here. And you can join the group of lady attorneys or at any level by going to patreon.com/attitudes, where we also have all kinds of stuff there. We do a Q&A every week, which is basically someone writes in with a question. We answer it. We also, Erin? We do our Vault episodes, of course.
Yes, we have a Vault episode came out this week. I went to Gob Squad's kitchen with Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember this?
No, I don't remember Gob Squad.
And I hated it. I don't even know what this is. But anyway.
I don't remember it at all.
And then Bryan has a friendship with Billie Jean King. And then there's a fake pregnancy clinic scheme inside of Color Your Mind. Yeah.
Yeah, so that all makes perfect sense.
Now, what's funny is we did then meet Billie Jean King later in life. This was a fake thing. And then we actually did meet Billie Jean King. We were going to work for Hillary.
That's right. That's exactly
in Las
right.
Vegas. We are doing this new thing we're doing, which is episode 5 this week.
Yes.
And that's going to be out for $10 plus tiers. And we've got a Discord watch parties for movie night this week.
Not to mention, if you're not a patron, you can actually get a taste of our video episodes, just a taste, with free previews every week on YouTube. So you can just search Attitudes Pod on YouTube. Saying YouTube feels so retro.
I know.
I don't know why. I mean, people still use it all the time, but saying YouTube feels very retro to me.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
All right.
Should we get into some shoes?
Let's do it.
Now, I'm not proud of this fact, but in middle school, I was into metal.
I'm proud of you for it, actually.
Brave.
I love metal.
# brave.
Yeah.
I dabbled in Skid Row. I dabbled in Metallica.
Sure.
I dabbled in Pantera.
Yeah.
I dabbled. Okay. But then I found The Cure and I said, I was a dibbler dabbler. And then I found The Cure and I said, bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye.
Yeah.
But
hello, hair dye.
Hello, hair dye.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it won't be my last tango with metal.
Okay.
Because last week, the UC Berkeley School of Public Health asked themselves a question.
Yeah.
What is in a tampon? And the answer is arsenic, barium, calcium, cadmium, cobalt, chromium, copper, iron, manganese. I never say that right. Mercury, nickel, lead, selenium, strontium, vanadium, and zinc. So 16 metals.
To me, those should have been the lyrics to Scarborough Fair by Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh, yeah. You want to try it?
Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Metal, nickel, vanadium, and plaster.
They didn't even test these things for plastic.
Zinc.
Nickel and iron.
Yes.
Copper and chromium. If you know how to pronounce some of these metals, congratulations. I don't. So they found these metals in 14 tampon brands in the US and the UK. There was a postdoctoral scholar who headed the study. Her name's Jenny A. Shearston.
Ooh.
And she said that they found all 16 metals in at least one tampon, but they didn't find all 16 in all the tampons.
Oh, well, then it's safe. Case closed.
But they did find lead in 100% of the tampons.
Oh, well, that's probably the worst one in there, right?
Lead.
Horrible.
It's really too bad children can't write anymore because I could side hustle my pussy out for pencil making.
You know what? You're right.
Right? Catch me at the Laugh Factory to Saturday night.
I love it.
Saturday night at 4 a.m. Okay. Now, you're probably thinking, what about the organic ones? Well, they got busted too. The non-organic tampons have the highest concentration of lead, but the organic had the highest amount of arsenic. Here's the thing. It's upsetting to be reading these news stories when you're literally on your period in a country where you cannot use your Diva cup because you don't know how to rinse it out when you're on location. So I'm currently stuffed to the cervix with non-organic Tampax tampons.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
And I'm like, I spent a long time committing myself to aluminum-free deodorant, which creates another problem for me, which I have to reapply deodorant 17 times a day.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Because not one fucking natural deodorant works. Not one.
Not one.
Not one. Send me your recommendations. I've used them all. Yeah. So I get aluminum out of my underarms and it goes right in my snatch. There's no escaping it. For me?
Okay, yeah.
Now, I'm not even sure what level of concern I should have about this study because Jenny said, this is what she said about her conclusion. She said, I couldn't make a recommendation on whether or not one type of tampon is safer than another because first we need to understand which metals can leach out of tampons.
Which metals can leach out of? Is that
they have the tampons have the minerals or the metals in them, but then which one of them can be absorbed into the body, or do they just stay in the cotton? They don't know.
Oh my God!
This was just a report to identify that they were there in the first place.
2024 and we're just researching tampons.
Well, that's kind of her point. Is that this is sort of like, I'm sure it's just the first.
Like it seems like they should be researched before they're even released.
That's exactly what they're saying. They're saying that like this is needs to be a little toxic shock to the system, that public health schools and universities should be researching menstrual products more, and for companies to be on alert that they're being watched and need to hop right on to figuring out whether their cotton suppliers have contaminated products. And secondly, maybe they shouldn't be purposely adding some of these toxic metals and other harmful chemicals into tampons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seriously.
This publication, Medical News Today, reached out to an OBGYN in Santa Monica called Dr. Ross.
Ooh.
And I want to read her response in a way that I don't think she intended it to be read. So this is her response, but I'm going to read it in a way she probably will hate that I'm reading it like this, okay?
Okay.
Women are becoming more invested in their health and wellness and always looking for ways to be more preventative and avoiding common medical complications associated with aging. This study highlights the 16 metals found in tampons, which may be associated with medical complications, including dementia, infertility, diabetes, cancer, and damage to almost every organ system in our body.
Diarrhea.
It is shocking to have someone just blatantly roll it all out like that.
No shit.
Damage to almost every organ system in our body. So just basically, you're overall fucked.
Overalls.
It always comes back
to... It does.
It always comes back to overalls.
This segment's sponsored by Carhartt.
Oh, do you know what happened? Do you know why I have all these Carhartt overalls?
Why? They're great.
Because I had Dickies overalls that I was painting in LA when I was painting the apartment. And I was like, I can't wear these. The fucking strap's broken.
Right.
They're too big.
I can't imagine they're remotely breathable. Dickies are cute, but they're not breathable.
So I was like, I need actual painting clothes that fit me. So I was like, oh, there's a Carhartt store on La Brea. This is so convenient. This is new and convenient. I walk in my Dickies. The kid working there goes, you can't come in here in Dickies.
Yeah, it is brand
and I said,
competition.
What is this place? You're playing Tiesto? The fucking, there's like fucking international tourists here to come to this store? What's happening? And then he was like, this is the fashion brand. This is the fashion line of Carhartt.
Oh, right. They do have like separate lines. I think I did know that. Yeah.
Anyway, that's the piece of shit I am now. I got metal.
I think they look great on you.
I wear fashion overalls and I put lead encrusted tampons up my shenanana.
You seem really proud.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, it's nice we're talking about overalls because guess what? That's what I talk about.
Nah.
No, this week I talk about
Britain?
I know my accents are going all over the place.
Well,
listen up, y'all.
But I have to say, for you, they're standard.
Australia. Alyssa said that my accent sounded Australian.
That she can even put a name to it.
No. This week we're going down to the south in the countryside where everyone farms. Diddle-diddle-dee-dee, mama said, knock you out.
Listen.
Sorry, just so everyone who is under 40 understands, that was a reference to an LL Cool J song.
Excuse me. It's a ranch hand song as far as I know.
Oh, Mama Said Knock You Out is an old country song.
Country conservative song. Listen. This week, I'm going home. I'm talking about John Deere tractors.
El Paso?
Which is, no.
Okay.
You know what? Cut all that. I'm starting now.
I don't think you should. I think you should double down.
I would like everyone to understand something.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really think of an intro for this shoe until this moment right here. And I don't think that's coming as a surprise to anybody. This week I'm talking about John Deere tractors.
Ooh.
Because, honey, they have been crucified by conservatives this week.
What?
Yeah, in a very surprising way. I feel like a lot of conservatives just found out Pride already happened. Like they're weeks late to the fact that Pride was the thing. Because as I was researching for a shoe this week, I noticed across all my usual websites, there are all these people being like upset that certain companies supported Pride or participated in Pride. And it's like, girl, today is July 15th. We are more than 2 weeks out from Pride month. So give me an effing break. These complaints should have been launched. Not that I want any complaints to be lodged by conservatives, but should have been launched in May. But anyway, there was a huge backlash before John Deere for a different retail company called Tractor Supply.
Oh, I know Tractor Supply.
You do? I had never heard of it, but apparently it's like a big chain that's like an agricultural retail company.
Mm-hmm. There's one in Santa Fe that I go to.
I never knew of this, but there was a huge backlash against them last month during Pride Month because they do donate money, Tractor Supply, to diversity and inclusion causes, and that includes projects that would support LGBTQ plus youth. Now, there is one dude who is leading the charge in attacking John Deere and Tractor Supply. I believe he's a farmer himself. He's also a gigantic piece of shit who released a documentary called The War on Children, which is basically an anti-queer documentary. And his new thing is he's on a mission to expose woke companies. Those are his words. And also released the email of John Deere's CEO, whose name is John May. I don't know if you have to be John to work there or a John, you understand? So that all of this stuff can end, to boycott these companies like Tractor Supply, like John Deere. Do you want to know what his name is? The guy who's doing this?
Clerb Durkin.
So close. Robby Starbuck. Honey, Robby.
Has this motherfucker not been on the show before? Have we not?
We may have.
Very familiar.
I'm telling you, I've never had name envy like that before. My name should have been. The fact that someone else's last name is Starbuck and mine isn't sends me to the moon and back. Okay? I wish my last name were Starbuck, Costco, Bank of America card, City Charge card. You know what I mean? Latte. I wish my last name were Latte. Not Latte, like famed Chicago Fire actress.
Yes.
Or Chicago Hope, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Robby Starbuck released this documentary, The War on Children, that was like, which by the way, this is a side story, but he fooled a drag queen into talking about, he emailed a drag queen whose name I'm having trouble recollecting, but I will by the end of this story, and said, hey, we want to talk to you about all the banning of drag queens at libraries and da-da-da-da. Will you come in and do an interview? And then when she got there, she realized that it was all just a big gotcha thing and they were going to misuse her words during this interview for this thing about the war on children. They completely manipulated her to the point that she was completely humiliated and excoriated. And finally, she started talking to the press being like, I was had, by the way, Veronica Electronica. That was the drag queen's name, which is a great name, by the way. And by the way, Robby Starbuck is a good drag queen name, to be honest with you. It's too bad it's owned by a monster. Anyway, one of the things he complained about last month for Tractor Supply was that Tractor Supply offered LGBTQ plus training for employees, that they funded pride and drag events, that they have a diversity and equality inclusion council, that they have a climate change activism, that they fund things for climate change, that there were Pride Month decorations in the offices there, and that they have LGBTQ plus hiring events at work. It's so crazy how someone could see that a company is using some of their profit to promote good organizations and to promote better things, including climate change, and weaponize it. But I guess that's how the world works. I don't get it. What are the nonprofits this dude wants to see?
Don't you want someone like Tractor Supply and John Deere to make sure that we haven't, I'm just speaking specifically climate change, that you have people who care about the fucking sustainability of crops?
It seems like agriculture companies should be the leaders and at the forefront of fighting anti-climate change legislation, simply because with all of this, whatever, I'm going to talk out of my ass right now, but with all of this changing in the climate, the weather, all of this stuff, I mean, that directly impacts farmers. You would think they would be the leaders of such a thing.
That's what I don't understand. They've just lumped everything in. And it's like, also, how about this? Why would you want, in an era when farming is becoming increasingly difficult and hard, and what if you had gay queer farmers? Wouldn't you want to just be like, the more the merrier? We're all in this together?
Not to mention, Robby Starbuck, when talking about Tractor Supply, also tweeted a screenshot that just said, and this was his this was like a notch in his belt for his argument. He said in 2021, Tractor Supply donated more than $500,000 to causes benefiting veterans, persons with disabilities, queer youth, Hispanic team members, women and Black and African Americans. That's your argument?
Okay. I'm Crazy. In.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, in this thing where now he's attacking John Deere, he did publish John Mays, the CEO of John Deere, his email address, which is fine. I mean, I think every CEO's email address should honestly be public. Everyone should have an opinion on something like that. But he essentially encouraged people to write in and say, I am boycotting you until you change these practices that benefit or promote LGBTQ plus ideology, which, by the way, for a company like John Deere, I doubt they walk the walk, to be honest with you. I think that what they did was essentially say, we celebrate pride. Exactly. Which I guess is something. Right. Yeah. So who even knows? But a lot of people are now boycotting John Deere, saying we're not supporting a company that prioritizes policies like this, which I can guarantee you John Deere does not prioritize policies like this. I don't know it for a fact, but I can guarantee you they don't. They maybe talk about it in June. People are getting very upset, saying, having a farm myself, I'm disgusted that a once great American brand is now taking this turn to seemingly embrace leftist policies that are diametrically opposed to the values of most farmers. Whatever. I mean, get a life, to be honest with you. They also, by the way, so John Deere does, this is a pro, in their diversity training, does encourage staff to use people's chosen pronouns to strengthen diversity in the company and ensure inclusiveness so every employee can make, this is their quote, the greatest impact as their true self. So that's nice language. I hope they really do that. The company also, this is wild, I guess it's a nice idea. You know the gingerbread man?
Yes.
Okay. So to train adult employees and to explain gender identity expression and biological sex in people's preferences, they use a genderbread person, which sounds great for kids. But they bring in a genderbread person to come and teach about those things. I'm going to be honest with you.
Did you see a picture of the genderbread person?
No, I didn't. But if I were a full adult, I would be like, you could also just tell me about these things like I am an adult. And hopefully I would absorb them as such instead of talking to me like a child. But maybe you really do have to get back to basics with these things. And talk to adults like they're children.
I'm seeing it.
And I guess, I don't know if this is something that gets used everywhere, or maybe I've never heard of such a thing. But listen, thrilled about it. I just wonder, like...
This is called...
Could you also just have a trans person or a non-binary person or a queer person come in and talk to people about this?
Yeah. This is on a website called itspronouncedmetrosexual.com.
Wonderful.
I just think everyone's doing the
oh my
best
God.
they can.
Other people have said that lady attorneys are saying that they had a genderbread person training.
Did
you enjoy it?
No, I can't imagine.
I mean,
it looks like a children's book.
Right. No, yeah, everyone said it was horrible. Right. I can't even believe it.
Because you're looking at a gingerbread person. You're looking at a cookie. Okay?
You're looking at a cookie and they're telling you it's a person. And you're looking at a cookie and saying, oh, look, this is how you should treat the people like this when you see them on the street. It's like, well, honey, I'm never going to see a gingerbread
Bryan,
person.
I have to put it in the chat.
I've never seen a cookie walking down the street. Like, talk to us like we're adults who can absorb.
It's in the chat
things.
now.
What is?
The gingerbread person. Genderbread person. So on the genital area, it has sex.
Wait, what?
Yeah, look at this. Attractions in the heart and identities in the brain.
And by the way, then it points to the armpit. Underarm. It points to the armpit and says expression.
What the fuck?
I'm all about inclusivity training, obviously.
Not like this.
But this is an odd way to do it. It reminds me of, remember the book Everybody Poops? And they had depictions of everyone pooping, toys, objects, animals, little boys, and they didn't have one girl in there.
Yeah.
That seems like what this is.
Yeah.
It's like, so you're showing me that a cartoon knows how to poop, but a person doesn't.
Also, it's like, if anyone's offended by the fact that human beings have different expressions, can have different kind of expressions in this world, we'll make it a cookie because nobody's offended by a cookie.
Honestly, Robby Starbuck, genderbread person, I really feel it's the same goddamn thing to me. Like, have a queer person come in and talk to them. Or if you don't have access to that, like, how about just using a human being?
Yeah.
You're never going to run into this cookie on the street.
Is there no one in America or the world who is a gender expert who
like this is maybe talk to kids about it like this, but it's very odd. Right. There's got to be better training than that.
Yeah, there has to be.
Yeah. Anyway, John Deere, I'm glad you're doing the right thing. You also just laid off 1,000 employees, so that sucks. But I don't know. I don't know why Robby Starbuck is on one about this and then is so... It is so stupid to include anti-veteran, anti-climate change.
This person just hates the world.
Hates the world. Yeah.
And with a name like that, what a shame.
Also, he said something like, I'm a loyal seed and feed customer, which to me is very homoerotic.
Honey, I like to feed on the seed. Words, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Those are my kind of F words.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Thank you to our lady attorneys for coming. Thank you to everyone for listening. Go to patreon.com/attitudes for that new thing we're doing for the Vault episode, for the Q&A, all those things.
And we'll see you next week. And if something happens, we might not talk about it.
And I would like the genderbread person to become the new HR person in this enterprise.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So now when we do HR violations on this show, we'll call the genderbread person and see how they respond. Yes, absolutely. Yes. How a cookie would react.
Yes.
Okay. I can't wait.